No! Oh no! I didn't have my microphone plugged in. I'm so mad. Well, I didn't have it turned on. Oh, I was doing the na 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 na. But apparently I didn't. You guys didn't hear that, and now I'm sad. But hello everyone. How is you? Oh my god, I made another goddamn thing. Ooh. I keep doing that. I keep messing up my... I have like 4 things on my stream manager that I shouldn't have because I keep accidentally duplicating things and I forget how to delete them. But hello everyone. Welcome in, welcome in. It's nice to see all of you. How are you? We're doing something we haven't done in a while, actually. And it's totally not, because I don't know what to do today. Oh my god. My microphone stand is being upset today. There we go. Oh my god, no. Get in. There we go. Okay, it just... Guys, I'm going to be honest. It might be time for me to get like a new microphone stand, because I think the whole like cloth move isn't working right now. The whole just jam a cloth into the thing to help it keep it like held together. I think that's starting to fail a little bit. But what if I got 2 cloths and I really strongly push down? Let me see if I can... I do apologize if you guys are hearing a bunch of movement. I'm simply trying to... Okay, let me see if I can turn this down. Ruadh need a second sock. True. It's not a sock though. It's a cloth, but a sock could do too. But hello everyone. Hello Sari, always looking after us. Hello Laughs a lot. You were first. Usually ads are first, but you even got there before I said ads first. And hello Mayumi, as I just see you. Doing okay, but it's hot out. I saw you talking about that actually in thing. It was nice and sunny today, but it wasn't like... It was warm in parts, but it was quite windy, so... Even when I went for a nice long walk today. After some of the things I needed to do got done. And it was windy, it was cold. It was like cold because of the wind, but when the wind would calm down for a bit, it would be nice and warm. Nice and not hot, but just like sunny and nice, yeah. But I think you mentioned in the Discord that it's like really hot. It's like at least 26, 28 degrees and no wind or shade or something. That sounds revolting. That sounds exactly like the type of thing that I would hate to have to deal with. I hate the heat. I despise the heat. I hate when... In Ireland especially, it gets super humid. Like, even like 23, 24 degree days can just feel so sticky and icky and icky. It can suck. But yeah. I had a nice day. I saw a very cute dog today. It was a tiny little guy. He had a big fluffy face and he was kind of angry. He was kind of hopping up, kind of angry, like barking at people as they walked past. And he wasn't big enough to like jump over the wall. And I just stood there and looked at him and was like, "Oh, aren't you a cutie?" While he was like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff." I was like, "Oh, look at him, so angry." He would try to bite me if I tried to pet him. And the thing is that I've actually pet that dog before. I pet that dog. But today he was wound up maybe for some reason. I have no idea why, but he was hyper. I guess he's a little bit bigger than he was the last couple of times I saw him, like a good while ago. So maybe he's just like he's getting older, but like not like older as in he's getting old. He's getting like into teenage years, so he's always yapping. You were in a car with no AC. Oh, ooh, that That requires you to always have the windows down. I always find in when it comes to like AC, if you point it towards your face or like your head, that's like the best thing you can do. Because obviously it's the part of your body that's open, but I find if you feel like your head is cool, the rest of your body feels good as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to position this in such a way that I can like sit back, or maybe I. Oh no! Oh my god, that could have been really bad. Okay, we're safe now again. Sorry, I had to panic a little. It's pollen season, and you have and mom has seasonal allergies. Oh no! I get a little bit of, I get a little bit like stuffed up during the pollen seasons. It's not too bad though, thankfully. Oh my god! Okay, this is like actually infuriating. Okay, and then I'm gonna be able to bring and sit and lie back. Okay, that's better. That's better, I think. I just have to tilt this down. There we go. Sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble with my microphone. I'm gonna put that into. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna say to myself, get a new mic stand. You fuck. There we go. Taking off your shoes helps too. I never thought about that. I never felt like that feeling. When the car is driving, you just stick your hand out a little, not enough that it'll catch anything, but it helps you cool down. I know that trick as well. I used to, because I can get car sick very easily. It can just happen suddenly. I'll start getting like travel sickness. I would do the technique where you direct the air into your face using your hand. You put it like slightly outside, you lean your head against the window, and then you sort of direct it towards you. Fellow travel sickness sufferer. It's so weird. I feel like it's not gotten worse, but it's just like it's always there. What I've learned though is I'm very, very, very good at holding down getting sick. I have literally been on like bus rides and car rides where I've been feeling sick for like hours, like I'd say at least 2 to 3 hours, and then we finally and this is like a good, no, I wouldn't say 3 hours, I would say 2, maybe a little bit over 2 hours is probably the maximum I've done, where I'm just feeling rotten. You guys know what it feels like. You just feel like you really want to throw up. But I just put my head to the window and I just breathe. I'm just like, that's the most important thing, is getting your breathing under control. As much as you want to think about it, you have to not think about getting sick. You have to not think about getting sick. If you can get someone to distract you, if you can get someone to like talk to you, it does feel better because it takes your mind off of it. You have to think about other things, even while you're sitting there, like with your eyes closed and stuff. But what always happens is we finally get there, we finally get to the place, and then I step out, and I immediately run to the nearest bathroom to throw up, and then I feel way better afterwards. I feel way better. That's always nice. The immediate feeling of throwing up is not nice, but like 5 minutes afterwards, it feels like your body's cleared whatever's wrong with you. You can last 40, 60 minutes, but you need out. Doesn't help the car traveling as 2 doors, so you don't have a working window. Oh no. Oh, I hated those. I hated those cars where you had to wait for the person in front to get out, and then they leave you out through the back seat. It just seems really impractical too. Now that I think about it, that's like not safe at all. That's not safe at all. Like if there was a crash and God forbid you needed to get out of the car quickly, that's just not a good feature. That's not a good feature at all. Also, I imagine like shrunken cars like that are probably like a little more dangerous in a car crash because they don't have as much weight or much like packing, I guess. I would love to know what like the like how science is advanced like safety features in cars. Obviously, we have like really good bumpers now, and they're very good at like distributing impact and stuff. But like when you look at cars like Derby, is it Derby? Or like Formula One and stuff and all that type of things, it's like the crashes those people are able to walk away from are absolutely insane. Like really, really crazy. You see cars like flipping around, going head over heels, and like it's absolutely smashed to a pulp. And then they just get out, and it's like, oh shit, well, I guess I lose. I wonder how much money that costs them. You take the seatbelt off the hook, slide the seat forward, and then pull the lever to pull the seat down. I know, I've been in cars like this. I know exactly what you mean. They can be a head wreck. They can be a head wreck. I definitely tripped once or twice on those type of cars, hitting the. It was either as you said, catching your foot on the seatbelt, or like catching your foot on the like, I guess the middle part of the front seat. So it's great for getting out quickly. Something happened today, and I wanted to talk about it, but I don't remember what it was. I guess I must not have been that important if I like wasn't thinking about it. Excuse me, I'm kind of eepy. No thank yous for poking me. You poked me while I was yawning. You waited until I was weak, till I was indisposed, unable to defend myself when you attacked me. But yeah, we're going to be doing some reading today, and I just really didn't know what to do, and I was like looking at my bookshelf, and I was like, what if we did a reading stream? That could be fun. The system just took a few seconds. I don't believe you. I think it acted instantly, and you waited until the instant I was distracted, and you attacked me. You assaulted me with pokings. But yeah, we're going to be reading a very good book. I've actually read this before, and it's very interesting. By an author by the name of Sean Duffy. Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf. It's a really, really well-researched book. You gotta poke the nose, Mayume, not the cheek. I'm nice to you 90% of the time. Yeah, but not that time. No. Hi, Pippo. How are you? Oh, look at that, Pippo. You got a silver subscriber. You got 5 months? Oh my god. I think next month, I think it changes again. Does it? Wait, let me think. Wait, I can change yours? I can change what shows up for you? That's weird. Ugly sweater. Sharing festive clips during holidays. Huh. Interesting. Oh, sorry. Pip, I'm talking about the subscriber shield. Or the symbol. The knot next to your name. That's like 5 months. It's in 5 months, apparently. In terms of subsidies. But yeah, I almost missed this scream. Or scream. I almost missed this stream, I'm not gonna lie. Because I was lying down. And there's something about lying down after you finally get in home. And you have dinner. And you lie down and you're just like... Oh, it's like the most comfiest. The only time that's more comfy... The only time that's more comfy is when you're in your bed. After you wake up. Hello, Billy. How are you? Hashtag. Exclamation point thighs. Billy, that type of stuff doesn't work here. I'm sorry to tell you. It just does. Huh? What's going on? But put me down. Put me down. No. Don't show my thighs. Just because Billy... No, it doesn't work. I don't have this command. No. Put me down. Get off of me. They're grabbing me by the antlers. They're grabbing me by the antler. They're holding me up here. How dare they? Hello, legend is afoot. It's nice to see you. Why do you have a scar? Because I'm a Fenian warrior. I've been in battles. I've been in wars, combat. So it's a big it's a big scare. I have another scare too. Did you guys not know? Did you not know about that, Mayo? I have another one on the hand. Look, there's one on the hand too. I think I was also considering one further up the other thigh, but I was like, no, you got one thigh scare. Steals the coat. No, it's my coat. Give it back. I've been in wars, you know. I'm something of a warrior myself. No. Wait. What was I thinking of? Mine now? How dare you? Get back here. Give me it. I'm gonna be cold. It's a snowy night in the start of April. Also, I'm a little slow in the head, so I may not know, but I just didn't know. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Did you guys get pranked today? It's April Fool's, you know. I was considering doing the age-old, haha, funny April Fool's first joke, VTuber joke, the patented black text on white background, Twitter post. It's like small text that you can't read it, so you have to click into it. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. No, I want it. But did you guys get a Discord server you're in? Flip the name of the server title. How dare they? What a prank. I don't think there was any pranks, though. No. I didn't even think about it being April Fool's until, like, until I think I saw something on Twitter about it, but that was about it. Yeah, that was about it. Which is probably a good thing. I was not in the mood to get pranked. If someone pranked me, I probably would have just been annoyed. Depends on the prank. What if I had done a prank where, like, I'm doing ASMR and I'm, like, really focused on it, and I'm, like, whispering and I'm tapping on stuff and I'm being nice and relaxing, and just as it's like 11:59, it's about to tick over into the next day, I just fucking scream. I'm realizing right now that this is also... No, wait, this isn't reading and writing. It's okay. This isn't reading and writing. It's fine. It's not ASMR. Even though I think I've titled it ASMR. It's not ASMR yet. It's not technically ASMR yet. So I can talk away. I can be silly if I want to. What does that fish mean? Excuse me. But I had so much fun Monday. Monday evening, playing D&D with the boys. I really enjoyed that session. It was just really fun. It was like a cool, fun session. You could have said today was ASMR, but we just talk instead. Well, it's going to be a reading stream. It's not necessarily like full-on ASMR. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you're saying that could have been the prank. I mean, that probably would have worked out either way. Because that has happened from time to time, I think. It's like oh, you guys got pranked. I do that thing I do like maybe once a month where I completely forget what I'm doing for a stream and I just act normal. We just have a normal chatting stream. Ru is reading your chat messages. You guys would just start posting insane stuff for me to read. Or you'd start posting your fan fiction. Speaking of, I wanted to do a thing like maybe someday I'll do like a reading Skyrim like books or like lore or stories or something. I think that could be cool. Something like that could be neaty. Tweeny. Oh wait, no, wait. Not tweeny. There's only one E. 20. 20. Impressive. Very nice. Very nice. Hello, sunshine. It's nice to see you. How are you? I know something for you to read. Wait. That's one thing I want to talk about. I know. I don't know why that made me think about it. No, I know why. Because I thought when you said I know something for you to read, all I could think of was these nuts. and it made me giggle for a second in my mind. But I talked about this in the. Oh, you want me to do a tongue twister? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but Peter Piper didn't pay for the pickled peppers. Peter Piper is now wanted by the state for theft. That's not a tongue twister at all. Peter Piper is a thief. Kill him, round him up. Not that again. What's wrong? I didn't even talk about that on stream, Pip. I get to talk about that on stream. I didn't get to talk about it on stream yet, only in Discord. I thought it was very funny. So I was doing stuff, and I had to. That's enough. Okay, fine. What else? What else has been going on with me? I don't really know. But yeah, I picked out I picked out a pretty cool book. Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf. I think it will be. I remember it being. It's a historical book. It's not it's not necessarily like just Is that sci-fi? No legend is afoot. No. In the original tongue twister, they never really said Peter Piper paid for the peppers. Just that he picked them. Well, they could be his own. They could be his own peppers. You don't know. You don't know that. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. I always think a really difficult one is everyone knows Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wish. Red letter, yellow letter is really hard as well. Red letter, yellow letter, red letter, yellow letter, red letter, yellow letter, red letter. It is not sci-fi. It's historical. It's historical. This is a historical book. So there'll probably be mentions about like specific history works and stuff, but I think we'll have some. There's some cool stuff. It goes into like general Iron Age or Viking Age Ireland, Brian Boru's family, his rise to power, his background and stuff. I think it will be pretty cool. I think it'll be pretty neat. You have a lisp, so saying things like I think it's really fucked up. It's really fucked up that they made the word for lisp like a word that someone who has a lisp. Like, it just really shows you have a lisp. It's like, I have a lisp. Well, yeah, no shit, buddy. Say lisp again, I know. It's like fucked up. It's like they have a word. What is that again? What's that word? There's a specific word. Fear of. Yeah, this one's also really fucked up. The fear of long words. The fear of long words is what I'm about to post in the chat. Hippopotamonstrous. I don't even know. Hippopotamontrosis. Equipdelophobia. Daleophobia. Something like that. For fear of long words, you know what I was going to talk about, Mayume. You know what I was going to talk about. I literally was like looking that up as you posted that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, why would you ever do that? Oh, okay. Someone has it broken down. Hippopoto monstro sequipdaliophobia. That's just disgusting. The struggle, I know. Imagine trying to tell anyone about your phobia. About your phobia, you're like, oh, I please don't use long words for me. I have, and then they just start screaming. How to confront your fears, make someone say it whenever they want to talk about it. Oh, that reminds me of some of the things like the Mythbusters did when they were doing like the cold feet experiment. When they would, does being fearful do you actually get cold feet? And they made them all like face their fears. Basically, they put Grant's one was fucked. They put him in a plastic box. He was sitting down, and they put his head in a small plastic box. Already, that's like weird because like claustrophobia. And then they started putting spiders in there, and they were literally like walking across his face. You don't think you have that phobia, but you do hate long words. Oh, I see. It confuses you? No, no, no. Long words can be, they can be very poignant when used correctly. I always get kicked out of, you understand, all ablutophobia, and just thought I was purposefully disrespecting him. Ablutophobia. Have I heard that one? Ablutophobia. I don't think so. Is the intense irrational fear of bathing, washing, and cleaning oneself. Holy shit! I could literally, if anyone ever told me about that, I would point at them and go stinky, 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 and then I would spray them with my deodorant and be like, "Here you go. You need." Every time I'm like gifting them something, it would be like a bottle of deodorant or a bottle of perfume or cologne. It would be like, "Here, take this. It'll help you on your journey." I don't know how you deal with that though. Like why? Why is that a fear? How does that even develop? There's some fears that like you can understand, and there's others that are like you found a way around it. Wait, you have it, Mayumi? When you even looked at the shower? What? You know what? I just in case, don't tell me why. But stinky. Okay, now I know what to get you. Now I know what to gift you if I'm ever like gifting you a birthday present. That's very strange to me. Like, it's nice being clean. It's nice coming out of a shower and being like, I'm nice and fresh. Like, I literally had a shave earlier. The skin's nice and smooth. Well, it could be smoother. It's kind of rough actually, along the scratchy parts. You've seen this in a show, Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. I know nothing about that. That doesn't remind me of anything. But I like the name, Pen Zero, Part-Time Hero. That has a nice like. It just rolls very nicely. I feel like crying and felt like shit whenever I used to force myself to. It's a kids show. I was it sounded like one. That's so strange. That's a really strange phobia. But I think that's the thing about some phobias is some phobias you can completely understand. But phobias are often, one would say, irrational. Not that it's like, for example, a fear of snakes is like, that's probably a healthy phobia. You can understand why someone is fearful of snakes. Yeah, that makes sense. But someone who has a phobia of snakes would look at a snake that's like behind some glass and would get very scared because of that. While someone who is like has a healthy fear of I shouldn't fuck with the snake because it could bite me would look at the snake in the glass and be like, that's fine. Do I have any phobias? I'm trying to think. I'm glad you found a way around it. That's good to hear. Sounds like something tricky to deal with. I'm not sure. I think I don't like spiders freak me out. Not in a way that I can't deal with them. But like if I have to deal with them, I'm like always worried. The big ones. I'm always worried they're gonna escape and start crawling on me. I'm like, ah. So I get like jumpy when I'm dealing with them. I'm fine otherwise. And if I saw like a really big one, I remember, I think I never saw like a proper tarantula, but I'd like to see one because they look cool. But stop. Oh, Pip doesn't like spiders. Pip is not a big fan of spiders. But like tarantulas, I assume they're also quite fast. You have that phobia. Oh no. What phobia does Haru have? When Haru joins, I can start talking about her phobia of I don't know. A crowd fear. Inoculophobia. That's interesting. Fear of no hot men. That's probably it. Fear of no hot art. She screams. If she doesn't eat art at least like once a day, like Gale with his magic items, always eating the magic items, she like freaks out. She goes crazy. He's a nerve run that makes any touch really painful. Ah, okay. That makes sense then, because if you're in a crowd, like, you're just naturally going to be bumping off people. That makes sense. That makes sense. That feels more like not even a phobia, but like it could be something that he developed a phobia from, just like true experience, I suppose. But like it seems like a natural concern over whatever it is he deals with. But that's interesting. Now it could be something that maybe if it was something he's always had in life, that it developed from a natural concern to like a genuine phobia, so that even if he was like fine with being touched, if it was somehow fixed, whatever that nerve problem is, he would still be like really nervous around crowds because it's associated with. It's like when you Pavlov yourself into something by accident. Just slowly got worse over time until you got a new shower. Then it was unbearable. Until you got a new shower. Huh. And then... Oh, sorry. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. That's strange. I don't know. I can't understand how a phobia like that comes about. I probably do have some phobia that I'm just not thinking of. Like, if I was to see it, maybe I would get, like, perturbed. I do have a very risk-adverse mindset, I suppose. I'm always, like, worried about things that can go wrong. Like, if I'm getting into a car with someone that I haven't driven with before, I'm like, oh, what if they're a bad driver? What if they're speeding? What if they're going to overtake someone? It may be because you're... Yeah, no, that's fine. I'd rather you not. I'd rather not. One, I don't think that's a very good thing for the stream, and two, yeah, you know, I'll just keep it at that. I don't want to keep that on the stream. But thank you for being considerate. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, very risk adverse mindset. Very risk adverse mindset. It can be bad when it comes to, like, if I'm going to, like, the Marys or something, which you guys might not know what I mean by the Marys. The Marys would be, I guess, what you guys call a carnival, or not even a carnival. Like, it's just like a place where there's, like, rides and stuff, an amusement fair, but they're not really an amusement fair. It's hard to explain. The Marys, a fairground. Yeah, that's good. This would be more, as in the word merry. Yeah. Where one goes to have merry times. These are more like traveling amusement parks. You'd often see them around small villages and stuff. Which I've gone to a few times for like summer holidays and stuff. Those are always rickety pieces of shit, and it always feels like they're gonna fall apart when you're on them. You got a goldfish there once, lived for like 5 years. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I remember one time I was like, they had like all different prizes. It was the like knock down the cans game, you know? Knock down all the cans. And I won it. I won the knock down all the cans game. And I got a pick of my winnings. I decided to take, like, it was a popper, I guess. I can't remember what it was called. But it was basically just like a plastic packet. And you could break something inside it, and it would slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it would explode really loudly. A cracker, you might call it, or something like that. It wasn't like a bomb, but you still wouldn't want to be holding it. It was just very loud. But I got it. I remember I was holding it, like standing right by the ball thing, like I just got it straight away, and I took it, and I think I must have pressed down on it too hard when I took it, Because as I stepped back, it was already beginning to inflate in my hands. I was like, huh? Wait, is it meant to do that? Oh shit! I like tossed it to to a friend who caught it and it was like, oh, what the fuck? No, you take it. They tossed it to another person. Someone tossed it back to me. I panicked because at this stage it was like it looked like it was about to blow. I tossed it into I tossed it into the cart where they were doing the ball game, and it landed like on some of the prizes, and then it went bang, and we were like, oh shit, and the lady in the cart got really pissed off with us, and we took off running. We were sprinting as fast as we could. Impromptu. It was exactly like that. It was exactly like that. Tisk tisk Ruadh, silly boy. I didn't want to get my fingers blown off. Better like a little bit of merchandise gets a little bit of scratchies, a little bit of damage. Everything there probably cost them like $2 to buy. It was not very good stuff. But yeah, that was always funny. But yeah, nowadays whenever I look at those type of rides and things, I just think, oh, this thing has not been put through the rigors of like a Disney World, Disneyland safety. You could have just tossed it down and cleared away. You could have, but when you're panicking and suddenly you have it in your hands, like, ah, shit, and you just kind of get rid of it. And I happened to get rid of it in the direction of the caravan. Just so happened. It was there. The caravan shouldn't have been there. It was their own fault. If the caravan hadn't been there, it wouldn't have hit them. I think the panic took over. You don't have time to think. Yeah, I think so as well. It was a good number of years ago. Too. So, be dumb. Adrenaline make brain go brrr. It do that. But yeah. I would like, though, to get into our book reading for today. I'm going to pick up our book. I hear caravan in that accent and I want to watch the movie Snatch. Have I seen Snatch? Wait, what's Snatch again? If I like Snatch movie. Oh, I vaguely recognize the poster. Oh wait, I recognize some of the shots as well that I'm seeing. Yeah. I wouldn't like Chris Hemsworth? Huh. Or sorry, no, not Chris Hemsworth, Brad Pitt. Oh, Jason Statham's in this as well. Look at that. Cool. Guy Ritchie movie. Ah, I see. Snatch is a movie. I assumed so. You're welcome. Thank you. Did you like the way I said caravan? Legend? Would you prefer it if I was more like an American? Caravan. Hey guys. No wait. How would an American say caravan? Yeehaw! Wanna come down to my caravan? We can go hunting ducks down there. I went through like 5 different accents in the space of about 2 sentences. It was like kind of stop. No, I don't want it. Ruadh, I've never been to New York, but I somehow say coffee like a New Yorker. Hey, you want your coffee? No, coffee. There you go, coffee. Want your coffee? No, don't put me. Why you put me in a sandwich? Why you do that to me, Pip? Why you gotta put me in a sandwich? There's no reason for this. This is unfair, and an unfair attack on me. Unnecessary, because you're insulted. Why are you insulted, huh? That was like a real American wouldn't even be able to detect that was a fake accent. they would be completely fooled. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that. That was a perfect accent. That was a perfect accent. Now, Pip, I may not be no big city lawyer, but I need you to understand something. I can do the most perfect accent that you've ever heard, son. I could tell 100%, not even 100%, 10,000% it was fake. Not a chance, son. Not a chance. You could not tell. You could not tell that this is a fake American accent. This is a good old boy. Good old boy down from the South. Yes, sirree. That's your song cover, Ruadh. Real American. I am a real American. Wait, no. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for your rights. Fight for your life. Do 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 do. What? Wait, no. That was a. Was that even the correct intro? Did I just do? I feel like I just did the intro to I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I think so, yeah. I can do multiple accents, but I somehow can't change my pitch when I raise my voice when talking to someone who needs you to speak louder. Oh, yeah. I think I did. Yeah, that was a did it. I did indeed. I don't know why I went that route. It kind of worked though. It kind of worked. What other amazing accents can I do? What other amazing accents? So they always think I'm mad, but I'm not. What other accents can I do an amazing job at? What other American accents am I really good at? Oh my god, yeah. Is this a Valley Girl accent? I think it is. Oh my god. You just have to say oh my god after every couple of sentences. And have your voice kind of intone upwards at the end. And you always have a bit of a vocal fry. Yeah. You gotta say yeah a lot. Yeah. Daya. Does Daya have? No, I think Daya has like a Californian accent or something like that. He has West Coast white girl accent because he loves that music. We love Daya. Oh yeah, like, and oh my god, like, oh my god. I say like a lot. I don't know if you guys notice this, but it's very common down here to say like when you're talking about something. Maybe I don't do it. I don't know. Do I say like a lot on stream? I feel like I do, but maybe it's different from that accent, so it wouldn't have that similar pronunciation. There's a lot of very fun accents in Ireland. I'm not great at them, but love a West Cork accent. Very thick and strong. Be very difficult to understand it if you're not used to accents. But speaking of Ireland, I do want to get into the book at this stage. So we will begin Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf. We get cozy by the fire. So if anyone has joined that is like new, which I doubt it, like yeah, we're actually gonna do a reading section. Oh, there's like maps in this book too. I usually take like photos of maps. I'll have to remember to do that if I do more streams of this book. Preface. One of the landmark works of scholarship in the field of Celtic studies in Ireland in the 19th century was a publication of the near-contemporary romantic biography of Brian Boru, known as Cóga Gala Rí Gaibh, or Gaile Rí Gaibh, The War of the Irish with the Vikings. In the introduction, its editor, the remarkable Trinity College scholar James Henthorne Todd, made a plea for the publication of critical editions of the medieval Irish annals, stating, "Until these and other original sources of Irish are made accessible, it is vain to expect any sober or trustworthy history of Ireland. The old romantic notions of a golden age, so attractive to some minds, must continue to prevail, and there will still be firm believers in the glory of Brian the Brave, the lady who walked through Ireland unmolested in her gold and jewels, and the chivalrous feats of Fionn McCool and his Fenians." Of course they did. That was exactly what it's like. This is one of those books. This is one of those books that have like loads of references and like little notes. But the issue is that like half of them are literally just references, and they're not actually like, some of them will be things that adds more. I think most of these are just references. Okay, yeah, none of them are additional notes. That's good. I can ignore those. Happily, in the century and a half since, great strides have been made in editing and making available the annals and a large volume of other documentary source material from medieval Ireland, and indeed thanks to the groundbreaking Celt project of University College Cork, anyone anywhere in the world who has a computer and an internet connection can gain access to a vast digital archive of this material, free of charge and almost instantaneously in the comfort of their own home, which would be www.ie/Celt. The publication of these primary sources has led to an explosion of secondary scholarship, books, articles written by professional historians and Celtic scholars on the subject of medieval Ireland, grounded in the professional interrogation of these same source documents. Todd's hopes for a sober and trustworthy history of Ireland, freed of old romantic notions, have been largely realised. But his misgivings about what he sarcastically called the glories of Brian the Brave stemmed from a belief that the popular image of Brian Boru was at variance with the reality. This is Brian the all-conquering, Viking-vanquishing champion who died in his hour of victory at the Battle of Clontarf, a victory seen as possibly the most glorious achievement by any Irishman through the ages. This is Brian the hero figure, who led his people to victory over their would-be Norse conquerors, and secured their freedom from foreign oppression. As one respected and the author unequivocally put it, the leader of the Irish resistance movement. Brian Boru's preeminence in Ireland's royal pantheon is starkly obvious from the fact that of the 50 or so high kings who reigned from the dawn of our Irish history until the institution went into abeyance in the aftermath of the English invasion of the late 20th century, he is, sad to say, the only one who has such wide name recognition to this day. The Battle of Clontarf is similarly one of the few Irish battles, and the one medieval one, fixed in the public imagination, and its date, 1014, one of the very few medieval dates that resonate for Irish people in a way that Hastings and 1066 do for our neighbours. Todd was writing a full half-century before the 1916 Rising. If the bloody execution of the leaders of the Easter Rising represented lives sacrificed in the cause of Ireland, so the Battle of Clontarf, taking place on Good Friday, had associations with Christian martyrdom in the form of King Brian's death in his hour of victory over the heathen Norse. The story there is that as the Battle of Clontarf was taking place, Brian Boru, so it goes, was praying in his tent. He was a very old man at this stage. He was near the end of his life, really, when one of the Vikings appeared. A group of Vikings attacked the camp and the tent where he was praying and struck him down right then and there. Todd hoped for a more dispassionate assessment, which would scrape away any later folklorish residues and get to the real Brian. But progress since has been patchy. Because, while historians continue to refine our understanding of the subject, theirs is a constant battle with the force of the dictum that when the legend becomes fact, one prints the legend. And in the golden age, in the age of online wargame videos, of battle reenactment mania, of the television and Hollywood historical drama, and in the age of the instant self-publishing novel, the legend of Brian has never been more alive. The antidote to legend and folklore about Brian lies in Mair ní Moyna's admirable recent biography, Brian Boru, Ireland's Greatest King, 2007, as there is no greater authority on contemporary Gaelic literature. As to Clontarf, the millennia of which is now upon us, in 20 years of teaching medieval Irish history in an Irish university, the one question the writer has been asked more than any other is the innocuous sounding, so what really happened at the Battle of Clontarf? What follows is a long-winded attempt at an answer. It is a straightforward political narrative. It situates Brian in the politics of Viking Age Ireland. It tells the story of the rise from relative obscurity of his North Munster dynasty of Dál Céis, of his own rapid ascent to national dominance, and of the political transformation he wrought. It charts the inter-provincial struggle for supremacy that fed into his great battle on Good Friday 1014, in which he lost his life. And it examines the international context, the Second Viking Age in which Clontarf was fought, when England was being conquered by the Danes under the family of King Nut, and the Norse of Dublin made their fatal gamble on breaking free from Brian's overlordship. It examines the evidence to see what was at stake in 1014, and how it can be that the Brian was victorious at Clontarf, yet lost his own life. As this book goes to press within weeks of the millennial anniversary of the Battle of Clontarf, okay, this is just a list of thankfuls, so we will move on to the introduction, Viking Age Ireland. I actually wonder, some of you here might not have been around for, no, I think all of you have been around for some of my reading streams. So yeah, I think that's fine. I was wondering like how it feels to see Ruadh like being very ready. What it was like how I would do I guess if I was to do like an audiobook or something, I'd probably do it like this. Obviously you'd be retaking lines to make sure things sound well, but I actually don't know how I don't think I've ever listened to an audiobook. I should try it someday. Obviously I listen to loads of video essays, but I should see like how they do it. Do they do like voices and stuff? I don't think so. Maybe some do. Viking Age Ireland. Brian Boru, anglicised as Brian Boru, was born in the second quarter of the 10th century into a kinship dynasty of which not a great deal had hitherto been heard from, and from which only the most far-seeing can have expected much. Brian's people, who lived in the southeast corner of what is now County Clare, were the Thairdale Beg, who were a branch of the Danish Tushkert, better known as Dál Céis, who were a branch of the Daeshbeck, who were themselves a branch of the Daci of Munster. Or DC. DC means, I'm going to guess at the pronunciations as best I can. Daci means vassals. Thus, Brian's people were a branch of a branch of a branch of a branch of people who were, in any event, only vassals of the kings of Munster. It was not a great pedigree. True, promoters of Brian's dynasty concocted a family tree to feign descent from the ancient kings of the province, but, to begin with at least, it cannot have fooled many. Yet Brian and his brother, Matt Galmain, before him, made themselves kings of Munster. Quite an achievement. What is more, no king of Munster before Brian had gained general acceptance throughout the country as king of all Ireland. And yet he did. A truly remarkable achievement. To get the measure of that achievement, we must consider Ireland, the Ireland into which he was born. I'm going to check real quickly, because it might be handy for you guys, because there was a reference of, page 10 has, usually I would do this beforehand, but it might be good for you guys to be able to see, just kind of, is there a better map than that? This might take a little bit, but that's okay. We have loads of time to, okay, so 10, 17, let me take a look at that. These two maps. I just want to see if they're worth me taking my time to... Oh, wow, that has a lot of information. Whoa, hang on. I'll take a photo here. and I'll make sure to have this ready next time. But I always did this for the other books, like especially the one about Philip II of Macedon, which I still think is might be one of my favorite like history books. I need to get the camera open. There we go. So I need to take a photo. I don't like show yourself. Yes, with the reflective the reflective pages. Gotta crop it just a little. And how do I do this? I guess I just have to upload it onto... Yeah, okay. I have an idea. I do apologize for the slight slight delay in the reading, but I do think it will make more sense if you guys can at least see like the general areas that it's talking about. I need to upload. Come on, hurry up. And then I need to go searchies. Click the button. Click the button. Go to Drive. Now where is it? There it you got. Don't select everything. And I then should be able to... Huh? Did it not download? Why didn't it download? Ah, I hate when that happens. Alright. Another slight delay. I may have closed the tab just a smidge too quickly. Ah, because I had to do its like little scan first. I see. I guess that makes sense. I guess I won't get too angry. And big Irish. Wait, hang on. Irish warrior navigates Windows 11 ASMR. That's on my finger, by the way. That's the strap of my phone case. In case you guys thought you were getting like, oh my god, finger shadow. Why? I don't even know why you guys would be caring about that. My fingers are right here on screen. See. But yeah. So this will at least give some bit of idea of where things are talking about. So when it mentions Moo, that's a monster. So Brian's family would have been in that region, sort of somewhere, I think around the middle-ish, if I remember correctly, is roughly where he was. Middle west. Anyway. I might not do that again for like the next one. Moo connector lagging. They have bad. That says Conocta. I think Lagan might be pronounced that way though, or Lagan. The Southern Unail, Brifin, Agiala, Northern Unail, and the Ulaid. Some of this is like old Irish too. So it's a little awkward. Anyway, where were we? We were here. Early Ireland. The Celtic-speaking people who would eventually emerge into the light of history as the Irish arrived in the island only perhaps a few hundred years before the birth of Christ. Regrettably, these Iron Age people have left us nothing in writing until the 5th century AD, when we began to find inscriptions using a system of symbols called Ogham that takes the form of a series of lines and notches on standing stones, used as territorial markers or to commemorate the burial place of great men. The majority of the 400 or so that have survived are found stretching from the Dingle Peninsula through South Kerry, Cork and Waterford to County Carlow. But there are a number of Irish Ogham stones in Wales, particularly South Wales, with lesser concentrations elsewhere, such as Devon and Cornwall. While the Ogham alphabet may have been derived from that of Latin, "Hi Harold, don't pinch me, get off me. No. How dare you. Reading Ua is wacky is If you don't stop pinching me, I won't be able to read properly. My reading will sound all kind of awkward like this because you're like grabbing my cheek. Ow! I actually pinched myself. He grabbed my cheek. But how are you? How are you? Are you doing well? I hope you're doing okay. You're getting on. Don't. I was about to say the week is almost over, but that's because. Do you guys get a day off Friday? Are you guys getting a day off Friday? Here I am. I'm having a day off Friday. Why are you always dying? When are you going to die? I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just like, you don't? Oh, how? Give me a hug. It's okay. It's okay. You got this. I believe in you. Do you get Monday off at least? It's Easter. You could just say you're Christian and be like, Easter holidays, buddy. You're dying. I think she's dying. I think she's actually like dying right now, like full on final stages. You got a week off though. Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I don't get Friday off, sobs. I get a whole week off though. Okay, fine. I get 2 days. I get Friday and Monday. Friday and Monday, that's all I get off. Don't you lamau wow 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 at me. Yippee. Yippee. No wait. Yippee. Can I go higher? Yip. Yippee. Yip. I can't. Yip. I can't do it anymore. I got 2 weeks. God, I fucking hate you guys. I hate. Oh, teachers, you get 2 weeks. Fuck you guys. I assume you have to do stuff over it. Please, this is my last break before I go suffer study again. I believe in you. You can't even say dick. No, you can't call someone. Oh my god. Someone can't, like. If someone's name was Richard, but they go by Dick. Why is that a thing, by the way? You just get weekends. Oh, I'm sorry, legend. I said I didn't. Oh, you didn't even say Dick. Oh. Hey, Ruadh, get this. I was out bin raiding earlier and I found a foot. What? Huh? You were at what? What? What are you talking about? What do you mean you were bin raiding? How often do you do this, son? Is this just what you do in your day to day? A full 45 set of socket wrenches, all metal, just unused. That's actually, you know what? No, you know what? No, I take it back. That's fair. That's not a bin. That's the back of a work truck. Yeah, son, are you sure you didn't just like rob a shed? Son, I think you may have robbed a shed. Son breaks into like a bank, like at night. He's like, "Oh, someone just left all this money here. What the hell?" And just leaves. That's so funny to imagine you, son. Like you think you're robbing a bin, and it's just like a work van. So that's why all those work vans get stolen from. The people think they're just taking things that people are throwing out. I mean, why else would they be in the back of a van if they weren't going to get rid of it? You use a van to get rid of stuff that you don't want. Anyway, hi son, it's nice to see you. We're reading about Brian Boru and the Battle of Clontarf. We actually just started to. The gold bars at the back are free. You can just take them. These are the facts they don't want you to know. They're very upset about it. They try and stop you because they don't want other people to know you can just take them. So they'll like try and stop you and like arrest you and stuff. They'll say it's illegal, but it's not. Don't believe them. You just gotta say you're a sovereign citizen, bro. You just gotta say you're a sovereign citizen, and they're forced to let you go. Like one with a little foot pedal. So you took that home. I hope you're cleaning these things, son. I hope you're cleaning these things properly. I hope you're also on video of just like taking things out of bins, so people think of you as like the weird bin guy. But if they ever need something, they might go over. They might like knock on the door and be like, "Hey, bin guy, do you got this thing? I know you look in bins. You could have found it." Ugh. Anyway, let me continue with the reading. While the Ogham alphabet may have been derived from that of Latin, the language of Ogham inscriptions is Irish, although Ogham stones from Wales have inscriptions in both Irish and Latin, and therefore they testify to Irish settlement in western Britain, presumably involving the conquest of territory and the military subjugation of peoples, and to Irish contact with those most western frontier of the Roman Empire. So while late Iron Age Ireland was not conquered by Rome and remained economically underdeveloped, it had no Roman roads, bridges, or towns, it was by no means cut off from the outside world. It is not surprising, therefore, that in the early years of the 5th century there were Christians in Ireland. We should perhaps expect this, given the extent of Ireland's communication with Western Britain, where there had been a Christian presence for several generations. The Irish colonies and Wales in particular were an obvious conduit of, if, say, some of those Lagan or Leinster men, who gave their name to the Lynn Peninsula in West Wales, converted and brought their new religion home, or if British Christians, perhaps with a knowledge of the Irish language from Irish settlers among them, ventured across the Irish Sea to spread the word. You did also while wearing your 500 Aquascutum tweed overcoat, which I bought for substantially less than £500. The duality of that. Son, what are you... you always have the most interesting of stories, I feel like. But the rocking chair you also found dumped outside a house recently. I don't think you did, but I feel like you've shown me a rocking chair before in another conversation. So you're just collecting rocking chairs at this stage. And of course, the most famous of these early Christian missionaries was the Briton Patrick. The evidence that we have of Irish colonies being established in the age of the west coast of Britain, from Argyll in the north to Cornwall in the south, we can add Patrick's testimony that his own first encounter with Ireland was at the receiving end of Irish aggression, when he was taken prisoner by Irish raiders from his father's estate and brought as a captain to Ireland with many thousands of people, or tot milia hominum. While others evangelized in the south of Ireland, Patrick's mission was in the northern half of the island, and by the 7th century Armagh was gaining a position of prominence in the Irish Church because of its purported foundation by Patrick. Its church might argue that if Patrick was the apostle of Ireland, Armagh, and he chose Armagh as his special church, then the head of the church of Armagh was Cumbarbe Patrick, or St. Patrick's heir, and Armagh might or should be the special church for all Ireland. Other churches, such as St. Bridget's great monastery at Kildare, might dispute this, but armed with the best propagandists and allied to the dominant political dynasties, that would have been the Unail. Oh man, I looked up and the claims of Armagh ultimately won out, and although its fortunes might fluctuate in line with those of political sponsors, it gradually impressed its sense of its own primacy on the Irish in general. You live in a post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland or something. I mean, he is English, so maybe there's parts of England that you could consider such. Old news now, but you have a completely brand new pairs of Sullivan shoes that you found in a bin. What? Son, are you sure you're not just like robbing things? Are you sure this wasn't like was this in the back of a shoe store? Like in a box? In a bin, but like a suspiciously cardboard bin. Hence the fact, as we shall see later, Brian Boru, a monster king we should expect to find promoting the primatial claims of a monster church, aligned himself closely to Armagh, and when he visited in 1005, the Great Book of Armagh, a collection of writings by and about Patrick, formed part of the pageant, even though Armagh lay firmly in the territory of his northern rivals. A man who would be king over all the Irish required a national ecclesiastical capital. One of the Irish churches that vied with Armagh for preeminence was Iona, founded by St. Columcille, or Columba, in 563. As Iona is not actually in Ireland, it is a small island off a larger island, Mull, off the Atlantic seaboard of Scotland. This might at first seem surprising, especially given our modern tendency to regard the sea as something that cuts off, rather than links up. But Columcille is also said to have founded the monastery of Derry, and it would have taken him a lot less travel to travel by boat from there to Iona than overland from Derry to the third of his great foundations at Duro in County Laois. There was an odd contraption you saw dumped outside a house last week that you had no idea what it was. You'll draw a picture of it. I look forward to seeing it. I'll take a look at it in the Discord after stream. Neither should we think of Iona as being somehow foreign to Ireland, as no more than a dozen miles separate the Mull of Kintyre in Scotland from Fairhead in Ireland. We must envisage both land masses as having always shared populations. Furthermore, in the early Middle Ages, a people called Dal Riata, with a base in the northeast corner of Antrim, came to dominate Mull and its neighbouring islands, including Iona, along with Islay and its neighbouring islands, including the Kintyre Peninsula, as well as the adjacent parts of Argyll on the mainland. The very name Argyll comes from Erie Goidel, the coast of the Irish. When therefore Columcille settled in Iona, he was admittedly not in Ireland, in what the Irish called Eru, and Latin writers Hibernia or Scotia, but he was in Irish territory. He was a Goidel among his fellow Goidil, or as Latin writers would have put it, a Scotus among fellow Scoti, which explains how it was that when the Irish colony eventually smothered its Pictish neighbours to the north and east, and its British neighbours at Strathclyde to the south, and gained ascendancy throughout northern Britain, it became the land of the Scoti, Scotia, and hence Scotland. And hence too, as we shall see, the inscription written into the Book of Armagh to mark Brian Boru's visit to the pre-martial city in 1005 records his title not as Re-Henrand, or King of Ireland, not even as Emperor of Ireland, but as Imperator Scotorum, Emperor of the Goidil, who of course were not confined to the island of Ireland. Let me take a look at your drawing. I'm so used to your drawings being like you're a really great artist. I don't know what I was expecting, but this makes complete. You took about like 5 seconds. You just quickly. What is that? Yeah, that probably is a heater. That does look like a heater. I assume there's the heater at the bottom, and then the top part is like where it radiates out of. But that wouldn't make much sense. Heat rises. It would be a very ineffectual heater if you're like sitting underneath it. It's like, why am I so cold? All the heat's going up. Hello, Dee. It's nice to see you. How are you? How's my favorite angel doing? I think the heat radiates from the bit near the dial. It has a sort of grate to it. Oh, I see. Interesting item. You should go back and steal it and figure out how it works. That's my advice. You're doing your workouts? Oh, D getting buff and strong? Based? Oh my god, D, I didn't know you were doing your workouts. What are you doing? What are you working out? Heater? I barely know her. uh, ever since Geltarin kept saying that in D&D, it always makes me giggle. If you're supposed to put some clothes on the topping, maybe it's like a clothes. Yeah, maybe. Huh. Interesting. I didn't work out today. I had singing today. Um, just finishing up the squats and dreading the push-ups. D, you got this. You're so strong. You got this, D. I believe in you. You can do as many push-ups as me, I bet. I 100% believe in you. And good job. I got to get back to doing some kind of leg workout. Because of my neck and shoulder, it's very awkward for me to squat. I've been doing more deadlifts, though. My legs are so strong, and your arms are just not there. Such strong legs. Powerful, D. Hell yeah. Push-ups, you say? No, I'd really rather not. I want to read my book. This is meant to be ASMR. Didn't I title this ASMR too? Oh, you bitch. You bitch, Haru. Why would you do this to me? I don't work out, but I am eating a lot more protein and iron, and I've been donating plasma and staying hydrated. Don't you brew on me. Don't you brew on me when you make me do push-ups. Okay, fine. You know what, D? You know what? This is gonna be. We're gonna do push-ups together. We're gonna do push-ups together. Oh god. Oh, I was like relaxed. I was like lazy. Okay, hang on. let me stretch out my chest. I'll probably be doing chest tomorrow, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Alright. No, get out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There we go. Ooh. Nice solid 30 push-ups. Oh, you want my headphones? Okay, we're good. You just missed push-ups. You did. You did. I'm sorry, last lot. I'm sorry. Hang on. Hey, a bunch of tools, circular saws, couple of pin. You must have looked like a fucking crazy person, son. Your arms are also destroyed. Oh, hello, hi, banana. To be fair, the money is like a good incentive for helping people and taking care of my body. Wait, did I miss? Oh, I didn't even. I'm so sorry. I thought Sun said that. Because for me, it's the same color. I didn't even realize that was you. I'm sorry, banana. Hi, it's nice to see you. You can't be as lazy as me, Drewski. Drewski? What? He was going the wrong way. He's running away from us. I see you animated the bread emote. I had to because I didn't have any space for a normal one. But, I do love it. I do love it a lot. Thank you, son. You get paid? Yeah, paid with Ruadh bucks there. The exchange rate is not good at all. It's more worthless than Zimbabwean dollars or whatever their funny money is called over there. Ruadh reads a Sun message about learning to cook and immediately knows something isn't right. I also figured out how to cook liver and onions. It tastes good. The secret is a lot of tomato for acidity. Ooh. Very nice. But yes, if you guys have ever seen Sun's cooking, you will be shocked and horrified. But Sun is English, so, you know. No, a lot of English food is very similar to Irish food, like meats and potatoes and stuff. But Son is a very interesting individual when it comes to food. So boiled meat. Like you can have like seared and stuff. You can have like steak. Doesn't necessarily have to be boiled. I do just like this idea that it's like food has to be super heavy spiced, or it's just like, or it's like just completely flavorless. It's like I'm sorry that you guys have terrible quality ingredients. Couldn't be me in Ireland with you don't even use. Yeah, see, Son's weird like that. I feel like you're who everyone thinks about when they talk about English food. And then you always have like people bring up like the specific delicacies. You don't mind light spice, depends on the meal. I have no issues with spicy food. I really like spicy food, but I also really like food that isn't just about spice. Okay. Do your best on your push-ups. You got this. I believe in you. Do one push-up for every squat you can do. Get your chest strong. USA has abysmal choices for ingredients. Oh god, which one's this? That's you know what, son? That's fine. That's noodles. That's better than what it used to be. I think I can't remember what it was, but I think you once just posted like I don't know what it was. Not even noodles. It's spaghetti. That's fine. You know, I'd recommend adding a little bit of bolognese sauce. But, you know, son, have you ever heard of these things called minute noodles? You might like them. Anyway, let me get back to the reading, because I do want to get through some pages. That's buttered noodles. He's not intimidated by my spaghetti. Like, you know, get destroyed. You know, so like it feels like it's very lacking in food. Like I feel like there could be sauce and maybe a little bit of meat in there, a little bit of mince. You love Thai and Indian curry and hot Mexican cuisine, which is very different. But there are different levels and flavors in between. Yeah. I have had things that felt like they were just spicy, like spicy for the sake of being, like, to fuck with you. To make you go, oh. Then there's other things where it's like, nom nom. And it's just tasty. Butter chicken is very mild. See, that's the son I know. Okay. The shape of society. One of our brightest windows into early medieval Irish society is provided by a body of law tracts, often called Brehon laws, from a Brehon, a judge, which survived from the late 7th, 8th, and 9th centuries. These and other sources make it clear that in early Ireland, individuals did not hold their land in their own right, but rather as members of their kindred group, or fine. And at the time when the law tracts were being written, the group that inherited and farmed land was not the modern conjugal family, but a 4-generation group called the certain kindred, or the Durfine, or Durfina, comprising the male descendants in a male line of a common great-grandfather. Females were not entirely unaccounted for, though. Daughters could inherit movable goods, and they could also get a life interest in the family land if their fathers had no sons. Or their father had no sons. The Dervfina held the land jointly, and this was marked off from the neighbouring kin groups by fences and boundary stones, each member having an equal share of the family land, and with the passage of each generation, the land was repartitioned between the surviving members so that each had equivalent portion of good and bad land, arable, pasture, bog, and so forth. As we move closer to the time of Brian Boru, it is likely that inheritance was confined to a closer male kin descent group, the bright kindred, the Gelfianna, or the Gelfinna, comprising a man, his sons, and his sons' sons. In either case, the idealized image of early Ireland that is sometimes presented, with vast numbers of people holding land and property communally, is not valid. The Gelfinna property-owning group of first cousins might only have 2 or 3 adult males, and the Dervfinna perhaps double that. Early medieval Ireland was a hierarchy of aristocrats, their dependents and their slaves. What the I look over and I'm like reading about early medieval Ireland, and you're talking about raw dogging a tortilla. Is that chicken breast and a boiled egg? It is. Average American food tends to be heavy-handed with sweeteners and sodium. I've heard that. I heard they're very high in sodium. I can't say shit because I've an egg and warmed up tortillas before. Oh, sometimes you buy tortilla bread at the store when it's reduced in price and just put it in the microwave and eat it like that. Also, what the heck, Ruadh? I was totally expecting this to be the English patriotism stream. Guys, if I ever do a stream and I'm singing like God Save the King, Queen, you guys will know something's wrong. So while you're making food at home now, easier to control your sodium. Makes sense. Slavery was common. So common that a female slave, or cummel, was a standard unit of value. A person could be born into slavery or condemned to such a life as punishment for a crime, or, which was how St. Patrick ended up in Ireland, could find himself or herself enslaved as a consequence of war or rapine. Rapine? Wait, I assume that word has the meaning I think it does. Rapine, I see. The violent seizure of someone's property. Rapine, okay. You always knew it as rapine. It seems we're both wrong. Yeah, I was unsure because there wasn't an E to make the A sound. You don't hear words spoken out loud. I don't either. Sometimes it makes it tricky when you have to read. Ruadh shows up wearing the Union. What queen? Yeah, there's none right now. April Fool's Day. Ruadh becomes British. Oi, governor, you want to read some books, governor? I got some good books I got some good proper books on English history. We're going to learn a little bit about England. Yeah, 1066, the Battle of Hastings, when England became a real country. I'm just a suit. Yeah, son, it's okay. No, don't poke me, Haru. Don't poke me in the face. It's okay, son. I once said... I had 2 things that I said before. I said... Instead of saying epitome, I said the one everyone does. You have to pronounce it properly. Pursued. Epitome. The epitone of something. It's my birthday today. Forgot about that. You said April Fools. Happy birthday, Lancelot. That must suck. Like, every time you get to have a birthday party, they, like, pretend they didn't get you presents. It's like, oh, April Fools. Like, you guys have done this for 24 years in a row. It's not really a prank anymore. You read it as epitome for so long. Epitome. I know. What was another one I used to do? Another one was... Oh, what was it again? I remember... That's what it was. Charlemagne. You know Charlemagne, the French emperor? When I first read his name... I for some reason I would pronounce it like Charlemagne. Charlemagne. It was something like that, I would say. Charlemagne or something. I cry every time you hear y'all say, ew, y'all. When I hear the word y'all, I just think of like y'all in Ireland, in Cork. It's spelled Y-O-U-G-H. Well, oh, sorry, wait, no, there's an L in there. How's it spelled again? Y-O-U-G-H-A-L. That's it. Y-O-U-G-H-A-L. Americans often call it, well, like anyone who isn't Irish always calls it Yogle or something, or Yogle. I It sounds so wrong. I always think, all right, you fucking yokel, go down to Yogle. I'll be honest, I like the modified pronunciation of words that would otherwise be pronounced normally, like telemetry being rather than telemetry. Yeah, that is kind of nice. Charlemagne, the French famed radio host. I'm American. It's either y'all or you guys. I'm trying to be gender inclusive. We have a different one. We have ye. We use ye. Are you going to the cinema? Are you going down to y'all? Are you going down to Yogle? Dude, I've gotten like 4 pages in this book. Can I? It's been like an hour and a half. Well, I've only been reading for like maybe 45 minutes. Ye is yes for me. I like a little bit of ye too. Where were we? We were here. Consequence of war or rapine. Viking involvement in the slave market may have coloured attitudes that are practiced among the Christian Irish, and formal slavery must surely have been in decline by Brian's day, although contemporary sources from the period continue to lay heavy emphasis on the enslavement of people captured in war, and commentators on Ireland as late as the admittedly biased Giraldus Cabernesis in the late 12th century still thought of it as a recent phenomenon. Needless to say, a slave owned no land, and the demands upon him or her were arbitrary and onerous, unlike the middle category of society, the commoner or non-lordly class, sometimes called the Grad Féin, or Fina, comprising those who owned or aspired to own land. An obsession with the classification of people by status meant that the laws prescribed different ranks of commoners. 8, according to the law tract on status called Crit Gobloch. But it is not always clear that these are not just a lawyer's insistence on rigid distinctions, where the reality was more fluid, perhaps. The disparity between individual grades was given definition by assigning to each an honour price. Wait, no, Legend, I can't whisper, I'm reading. To each an honour price. Logneach or Eneclon, measuring the compensation payable for a legal offence against them, which was considered an insult to their Enoch, honour, or literally face. Thus the Murigfer, man of cultivated land, who may have been the equivalent of a well-to-do farmer, had an honour price of 3 milch cows. The honour price of the slightly less prosperous farmer in the Boera, or cow freeman, category was 2.5 milch cows, and that of a low-ranking Fear Meeboth between houseman, who was in transition between being dependent on his father to acquiring his own place, was a 2-year-old heifer. We should have had an hour of just yapping. And you guys make me feel like I shouldn't even read. Like, I wanna read interesting books, and it's like, what's even the point? I like adding ist, Ian, etc. to words to describe them. Right now the streamer is saying such Ruidian things. I like that. I like Ruidian. Yeah, Ruidiest doesn't sound right. It's Ruidian. But I think if we apply an Albionian lens, it's obviously just undiagnosed behavior rooted in childhood. This is the Rua being asked to read aloud in class voice. I'm always doing that voice. I was actually quite good at reading aloud in class. I didn't get picked too much, but when I did, I read nice and smoothly. I didn't take like 5. I remember one time I got asked to read a part of Macbeth, and it was some part. I know what part it was. I got asked to read the "unsex me here" part of Macbeth. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I had to read that section, which everyone was giggling at. We fuck around and Rua finds out. No, that's not fair. It's not meant to be that way. Remember, kids in your class would be so quiet and robotic. Even as a kid, it was painful to listen to. I know exactly. Rua, can you read the next section deliberately badly? Okay, I'll do like a paragraph. Clear distinction was made between those commoners and flahet, flaya. Someone like Brian Boraim of noble and princely rank, although barriers were to some extent porous, so that upward or down downward mobility was possible over a number of generations. What distinguished them was binding them together was the institution of clientship. Was the institution of clientship, or Kelsine. When we imagine the workings of feudalism in medieval Europe, we think of a system. All I can think of is this video that Daya sent on to me one time, where it was two guys pretending to be like the popular girls giving a presentation on the Irish potato famine. It's really funny. I'll like send it into Discord later if I remember to. But it's really good. It's so funny. Anyway, where were we? When we imagine the workings of feudalism in medieval Europe, we think of a system in which lords held all the land and granted portions of it as fiefs to their vassals in return for rent or military aid, or to help with the harvest. In the Irish system, the Céile, or client, tended to have his own land by inheritance, and therefore what the lord gave him instead, was usually cattle or other livestock, and a promise of protection of the profits, in the form of meat or butter or cheese, or grain for his bread and ale, and to fulfill limited farm duties, the work not done by slaves and the semi-free. Duties in, for instance, the lord's reaping party, or methil, and also to entertain the lord and his entourage at feasting times, especially during the lean months. Within the system, the preoccupation with hierarchy and status dictated that there were two levels of client: the free client, or sorcéile, and the base client, dorcéile, or Cella Gyalnai. Both were freemen, but the sorcéile could choose when to terminate the relationship with his lord by handing back his stock, and in any event it was for a 7-year term, whereas the dorcéile's relationship of dependence normally ended only with the lord's death. And if the base client predeceased his lord or lords, as he could have more than one, the bond of clientship passed on to his heirs. And there were different grades of lords, whose status was determined by the number of clients they had. Thus, the lowest ranking lord, called Lord of Vassalry, the Era Deessa, had a minimum of 5 free and 5 base clients, whereas the lord of the highest rank, called the Lord of Superior Testimony, or the Era Forgil, had at least 40 clients. Such an individual was also considered Nemid, a member of a privileged or sacred class, a class that also included clerics, poets, and all those whose status was derived from their learnings or skills, known collectively as the Eas Dana, or the people of craft. Rank mattered here to the same, if not a greater extent. There were 7 grades of churchmen, from novices to bishops, the latter having the same honour price as a king. And there were 7 grades of poets, based on the number of years spent mastering the different types of poetic metre, all the way up to the olim, or master poet, who likewise had an honour price equivalent to a king. Kingship among the Irish. There are few subjects more critical to an understanding of the politics of medieval Ireland than the matter of kings and kingship, and a few more complex, or, consequently, more controversial. The first point to grasp is that, as in all walks of life, nothing ever stays the same. The roles and powers of Irish kings in the 10th century, when Brian was born, had changed considerably since the dawn of the historic age 5 centuries earlier. But the second point to grasp is that, again, as in all walks of life, sometimes change comes slowly, and sometimes dramatically. An Irish kingship, and therefore every facet of life affected by it, and that was most, changed dramatically and irrevocably during and because of Brian's career. All political communities have leaders by popular acclamation or hereditary succession. In early medieval Europe, the leaders of even relatively small communities might be styled Rex, or king, and might be chosen by their people. But powerful leaders have a vested interest both in establishing the hereditary principle and in denying grand titles to subordinates and potential rivals. And so over the centuries in Europe, the term king came to be restricted to the greater polities, usually national monarchies operating to a defined order of succession. The same forces are apparent in Ireland, although movement was slower. The word used in Ireland for the basic unit of local political organisation was tua, an equivalent to the Latin plebs. The population groups occupying the river valleys and the fertile plains and the major forest clearings throughout the land were tuatha. Because of Ireland's size and low population, and because stable farming communities do not encourage mobility, it would not be surprising if there were many ties of blood linking such communities. But it is important to note that the Tua might have many strangers living within it, and was therefore not a tribe. What makes it appear tribal is the complex Irish system of naming Tuatha and other territories after an apical ancestor figure, which gives the impression that everyone within that political lordship was linked by a common descent to the ancestor celebrated in its very name. Thus, for example, Brian Borém's dynasty was called Dal Céis, because it claimed to be the Dáil, or section or division, of an ancestor called Cass. But Dal Céis was the name of both the lineage and territorial kingdom over which the lineage ruled, and by no means everyone in the territory was of that lineage. I'm going to get some water real quick. My voice is getting a little dry. And none of you have done a drink, you hydrate. How dare you guys? You guys, if I was a Pokemon or like a Digimon or a thing you had to take care of, my thirst bar would be 0. Dehydrate? What the fuck? Why are you so mean to me? There we go. I really like how this author writes. He's quite nice. Easy reading. Okay. When he was growing up, Brian's territorial neighbours to the west and mid-Clare. Your mind is empty. That's okay. It's okay. You don't need to actually learn anything I read about. You can just allow it go through your brain. Like, just go in one ear and out the other. Brian's territorial neighbours to his west and mid-Clare were a parallel descent group called Céisna, or Chasana, who their name shows us believe themselves to be the or grandsons, and by extension descendants, of the eponymous Cassin. Just west of them were their kinsmen, Kenel Fairmech, where Kenel, or Kenil, means that they were the race or descendants of an apical forebear called Fermech. Their neighbours to the west did not belong to Dalkesh, but their name, Corcu Basind, preserves an ancestor figure, Basend, of whom they were the Corcu, the seed, and so on. Ireland was dominated by political groupings calling themselves the U of A, or Kenil of B, or Corcu of C, or the Dáil of D, or one or a variety of other population names. Hello, Witty, as nice to see you. Each, and the territory they occupied, was a Tua, although if they prospered, in due course they divided like cells into multiple Tuaha. But they were not tribes, and each had within it many people who were not related by blood to the dominant lineage. In addition, there were numerous examples through the centuries of lineages that expanded into neighbouring territory and embraced the name of the dynasty they displaced. To give just one example, in the Boyne Valley there was a territory ruled by the people called the Cianachta, whose name indicated descent from a man called Cian, just as the Connachta were descended from Con, and the Aegonachta were descended from Owenachta were descended from Owen. When, therefore, the annals record the death in 748 of a man called Indrektok, Rex Cianachta, we should expect him to be able to trace his ancestry to Cian, but in fact, Indrentok was of the great dynasty of Unail, which had expanded into the Cianachta territory and confined them north of the Boyne in what is now County Louth, but kept their dynastic name for their own territory. Which is kind of fucked up. You just steal another people's name. Frequently, the community and territory known as a Tua had its own bishop, and the laws recommended that it have its own church, its own ecclesiastical scholar, and its own poet, and that it should be ruled over by its own king, or Ri, who was therefore called a Ri Tuatha, a king of a people. There were as many of these kings in early medieval Ireland as there were political communities who thought of themselves as a Tua, and there were surely at least 100 of the latter. The laws, of course, fascinated with the classification of society, liked to grade kings according to status. So, if there was such a thing as a Ri Tuatha, there would need to be a king on a higher rung of the ladder, and then another type of king who was higher up still, each having an honour price commensurate with the rank. Excuse me. The surviving law tracts are not consistent with the names they give these different grades of kings, but one arrangement has the Ri Tuatha, as a king of a single petty kingdom, coming below the Ruri, or over-king, who would have been the superior of several petty kings, in turn coming below the Ri Ruark, king of over-kings, who was at the top of this pyramid, who would have been the superior of several petty kings. If one were imagining them ruling in a modern Ireland, bearing in mind that there is often very little relationship between modern administrative divisions and medieval territorial units, the Ri Tuatha might rule something like the size of a barony, the Ruri something like the size of a county or diocese, and the Ri Ruark an entire province or archdiocese. But this was a theoretical framework. It might have had some validity at a very early date, although many would doubt it. Within the real world into which Brian Boraim was born, it probably counted for very little. By then, the leaders of local communities had stopped pretending to be kings, and contemporaries referred to them instead as Taoiseach, or leader, or a Tigern, lord. Words that acknowledge their noble rank, but deny them their kingly prestige. Just like Anakin Skywalker, when Mace Windu said, "We grant you the right of this. You may sit on this council, but we deny you the rank of master." Petulant Anakin. National consciousness. Oh god. This could be an interesting chapter, or an interesting section. What this pyramid of kingship conjured up in the law tracts did not allow for was a king operating at a higher level than a province king, i.e., a High King of Ireland. But this does not mean that no such notion existed. It occurs occasionally in legal texts, and it is a commonplace in historical texts and literature. A kingship of all Ireland presumed a sense of Ireland as representing a whole, and such a sense certainly existed. Another name for the highest rank of king, the Ruadh, king of overkings, was Coigid, or king of a fifth, from the assumption that the island had been, or should be, divided into 5 provinces, though in the historic era there was always more. And he's pointing to this map here, where we see there's the Northern Unail, Argiala, Ulaid, Brefan, Connaughta, Southern Unail, Lagan, Mumu. And of course, the concept of a fifth presupposes a whole, of which it was a part. Take another sip of water. My sippy cup. Furthermore, medieval Ireland's de facto political fragmentation was in stark contrast to its jurisprudential uniformity. True, the surviving Brehon law texts can be shown by passing mentions in places to emanate from regional locations. For example, the group called the Breha Nemid, Judgments of Privileged Persons, has a Munster provenance, while the best preserved collection, known as Senkis Mar, the Great Tradition, comes from somewhere in the northeastern quadrant of the island. But the laws themselves apply throughout the entire island. There is one law, and that is the law of Ireland. We find reference to Basque Nu in Inche Airnd, the law practice of the island of Ireland, and whatever the regional focus of the people called the Feni, a tract of whom is later found in Fionn McCool's legendary warrior bands, the Fianna. Their laws, called Fennicus, is used to mean the earliest customary law of all Ireland. And the language of the laws, like all material written in Old Irish, betray no dialectical variations. There was a standardized grammar and a standardized orthography throughout the Irish-speaking world, which must have had an equivocally cohesive effect. This was achieved, no doubt, because the law was developed by professional jurists, members of the Éastana, the poets and medics and historians and high-status craftsmen, whose authority transcended local boundaries. A Thua might have its own brehim, or legal expert, in the same way it had its own poet or bishop, but when such men of learning ventured into another Tua, they did not cease to be a bishop or a poet or a judge. The men of learning practiced their craft throughout the Irish world, and because they were jurists who shaped the laws of the world, or the poets who sang the praises of its heroes, and the historians who recorded the deeds of its royal lineages, there was a potent and persuasive unifying force. What comes across strongly is the Irish sense of themselves as a single people, a remarkably precocious self-awareness that reflected itself in many ways. Among them is the early development of a national origin myth, versions of which were in circulation by 800 AD, if not sooner, and culminated in the Lower Gabála Éireann, the Book of the Taking of Ireland, or the Book of Invasions. Workout over, you're free? Congrats, D. I'm proud of you, D. I'm proud of you. Good job. Yeah, you literally have the good job, D. I was like, wait, why does that sound familiar to hear good job, D? But yeah, you're the redeem on your channel. But good job, D. I believe in you. Good job. You're amazing. Keep up the good work. Thank you, D, for the head pat. Thank you. Go take a nice shower or something, or whatever you need to do, yeah. To relax after your workout. Remember to eat a good amount of protein as needed to recover, and drink your water. 1 shower and 1 iced coffee. Enjoy. You earned it. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Culminated in the Lower Gabala Éireann, compiled from earlier materials in the decades following Brian's death. This recounts the succeeding waves of invaders of Ireland from the time of Casair, the daughter of Noah's son Bith, to Partholon, who fought the Fomorian demons, to Nemed the Scythian, to the Fir Bolgs, who may be related to the continental Celtic tribe Belgae, to the magical Tuatha Dé, or Tuatha Dé Danann, the peoples of the goddess Danu, the climax coming with the arrivals of the Milesians. Or Milesians, I think is usually how I hear it pronounced. These latter are the Irish, and the invasion myth had them descend from the daughter of an Egyptian pharaoh, her name Scota. The myth makers claimed gives us this name, the Latin name of the island, Scotia, while her son, Goidel Glas, gives his name to the people, the Goidil, and their language, Goidelic, or Goidelc. The truth seems rather different, however. It is common enough for early people not to have a name for themselves until they need one with which to distinguish themselves from strangers, and it seems the Irish borrowed theirs from that given to them by the Welsh, the Gwyddel. The Irish had an exceptional pride in their language, which they boasted Goidel Glas, or his ancestor Phineas Farsaid, selected from the best. I love this story. From the best bits of all the other languages scattered throughout the world from Nimrod's Tower of Babel. And it is indeed remarkable how early in Western European terms the Irish were in developing a written literature in the vernacular, in addition to, or instead of, Latin. Banished from Egypt, their wanderings brought them to Spain, and it was the sons of Mil, or Milesius, of Spain, who led them to Ireland, doing battle with the Tuatha Dé, and proceeding to Tara, where the three goddesses Banba, Fotla, and Eru won the right to have the island named after them. This Bavura compendium was a long time in the making and contains, while struggling to reconcile, many fabulous contradictions. But its Irish audience down through the generations found it powerfully convincing. By tracing the Irish back to Noah, it found a place for them in the biblical history of the world. It provided an explanation for their presence on the island. It offered a justification, when that was required, in their struggle to retain possession of their homeland. And above all else, it served to emphasize the ancestral links between all the Irish, including the Irish in northern Britain, who became the Scots. They were of one natio, birth, a nation. The emphasis on preserving or inventing these links led to a preoccupation with the spinning of webs of genealogical data that mapped out the descent of the political lineages, great and small. Irish men of letters were greatly influenced by the Bible and hence, therefore, by the latter's fascination both with vertical lines of descent, as when Matthew opens his gospel by linking Christ back to Abraham, and with horizontal relationships between people, as when the first book of Chronicle lists how the various tribes of Israel came to occupy their lands by virtue of descent from their eponyms. We therefore still possess a great corpus of genealogical material from medieval Ireland that tends to be of two kinds. A simple pedigree, called a genealoch, from Latin genealogia, tracing an individual's ancestry, ascending upward in the paternal line, A, son of B, son of C, son of D, etc., or a more ambitious lateral project, sometimes called a Creb Coibnessa, a branch of relationship, which might begin at the apex of a pyramid and work down, tracing the parallel lines of descent, of dynastic descent, as far as the point at which individuals break off from the main line and found new lines, and then trace these in turn. Undoubtedly here the exercise is about more than just tracing one's ancestors. I'm just realizing these guys were playing CK3. These old Irish writers, it's been in my blood forever, hasn't it? They were just playing CK3, but like in real life. They were like, oh, I gotta expand my dynasty name. I gotta hit the next like dynasty level. Undoubtedly here, the exercise is about more than just tracing one's ancestors as an antiquarian pursuit, By showing the connectedness between lineages that might seem unconnected, the genealogy plays a powerful role in dynastic solidarity. It is for determining the relationships between people. It is for proving one's status by virtue of pedigree. It is for enabling individuals to stake claims. It is for saying who belongs and who does not. It is therefore about society and about politics. And for that reason, one should be wary of assuming that genealogies are always an honest attempt at recording the dynastic links between people, as a genealogy has a social and political job to do. While it will usually tell us what its compiler and his patron believe to be true, occasionally it tells us instead only what they wanted to believe, or wanted us to believe. And as we shall see, no dynasty was more culpable in this matter than Brian's. The Kingship of Tara. The Hill of Tara, a ridge in East County Meath that is a full 2 kilometres in length, but never more than about 150 metres high, and yet affords views as far north as the Mourne Mountains and as far south as Slieve Bloom, preserves monuments dating from the late Stone Age. There are also extensive remains from the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, but there is very little archaeological evidence for occupation or use during the Middle Age. The glory days of Tara, therefore, lay in prehistory, and it is not surprising that it features prominently in early Irish mythology. Tara was thought to have been connected with the gods of ancient Ireland, and hence the story in the Lower Gabála, mentioned above, that when the sons of Nial, the ancestors of the Irish, first set foot in Ireland, they confronted the supernatural Tuatha Dé at Tara, before defeating them in the battle at nearby Telltown these days, in County Meath. Clearly, the point is that the Milesians now hold Tara, and therefore have the right to rule over Ireland because of their triumph. The latter, site of Tailtiu, was the site of Onuk Talton, the Fair of Tailtiu, the assembly that only the king of Tara could convene. The greatest of the Celtic gods, Lugh, and whose August festival of Lunasa, the Onuk, was held, is associated both with Tara and Tailtiu. One tale has him gaining the kingship of Ireland, of Tara, while another says that he celebrated his Banesh Rigi, or wedding feast of kingship, at Tailtiu. I'm like unsure how to pronounce this. It's kind of a weird spelling. Lugh is said to have appeared at Tara to Con Caithroch, the ancestor of the people who gave Connacht its name, and also of the great dynasty of Unail. Con Caithroch, I believe, means he was also known as Con of the 100 Battles. That's pretty cool, I have to say. The Unail, who came to dominate much of Ireland, accompanied by a beautiful young woman, who he introduces as Fle Éireann, sovereignty of Ireland. This was a common mythological kind of use in early mythology, or of mythological stories, this kind of sovereignty goddess, who then gave a drink of ale to Con and all his successors until the Day of Judgment. The idea here is that she is the sovereignty goddess who bestows entitlement to rule on the rightful aspirant, and is therefore confirming the claim of Con's descendants to the rule of Tara and of Ireland. The Irish called this concept Fierce Fleetmon, truth of a ruler. In other texts, she becomes the wife or the lover of the rightful king. She represents the lands and peoples, and through his marriage with the goddess, the legitimate king is confirmed as a temporal ruler of her territory, under whom the land flourishes and the people prosper. On the hill of Tara there is a stone called the Lia Fail, the Stone of Destiny, which, the literature tells us, cries out like an oracle beneath the feet of the rightful king of Ireland. This tells us a little bit about the idea of kingship at Tara. It was about the legitimation of the right to rule. Tara was not a kingdom, or the capital of a kingdom ruled over by a king who, when he died, was overthrown or was replaced by the next in line. Sometimes there was no Temro, king of Tara, and usually the king of Tara lived nowhere near it. From the point when we begin to get a glimpse of events in the 5th century until the middle of the 7th century, Members of various dynasties from the present-day provinces of Connacht, Ulster and Leinster claimed the kingship of Tara, which shows that it was not the preserve of any one dynasty. Granted, it did not mean that the individual concerned ever managed to exercise a kingship over the whole island, as there was no centralised monarchy either in prehistoric or early medieval Ireland. But the fact is that the special status of the King of Tara was, at least sometimes, recognised throughout the island. Later, however, this changed. From the middle of the 7th century and from the next 300 years or more, until Brian came along, the kingship of Tara was monopolised by the Unail, one great dynasty with many sprawling branches. While there had been a lingering memory of Tara's special place in Irish polity, the term Temro came to be equated with the over-king of the Unail and with the attempts by the latter to claim hegemony throughout all of Ireland. Ugh. Let me take another sip of water. I was at singing practice today as well, so my voice is already was already a little tired. Hang on, I'm going to try and swap hands because my shoulder's actually getting tired. I should place it down. Oh no, my microphone's falling again. God damn it. God damn it. Stay. No, stay. Be a good microphone. Good microphone. No, bad microphone. Good microphone. Stay. No. God damn it. Okay, I guess this will have to do. I have to sit forward a little bit. When is the new microphone fund? I'll get one soon because this is actually starting to piss me off. Okay, there we go. The emergence of the Unail. Oh, 2 seconds. The emergence of the Unail. Mirchu, who wrote a life of Patrick around the year 700, describes the celebrated historical or pseudo-historical figure Niall Nogaluk, the Niall of the Nine Hostages, as the one from whom was descended the royal stock of almost the entire Ireland. Origio stirpis rege hirus pene insulae. It is a great exaggeration, but it sums up the contemporary reality of Mirchu's day, where so many of the dominant lineages, at least in the northern half of Ireland, seemed to trace themselves back to Niall. Assuming he was a real person, Niall may have lived in the 5th century and is said to have descended from Con Cathroch. Say, Kate Cathok. That's it. Kate Cathok. Con of the 100 Battles, who is believed to have lived 7 generations before Niall in the late Iron Age. Con is much less likely to have been a historical figure, but the theory was that Con gave his name to the people called Connachta, remember in the province of Connacht. It does seem quite likely that Niall's kin originated west of the Shannon. The genealogies depict Niall as the father of more than a dozen sons, although the U of the Unail literally means grandsons, and hence descendants of Niall, and therefore does not apply until we are 2 or more generations removed from him, each of whom went on to found a lineage of his own, which carved out a territorial presence. Even if this picture is of a remarkably fertile and fortunate family were true, it is likely that many of the so-called Unail lineages were nothing of the sort, but that, as the Unail power grew over the centuries, other population groups grafted themselves onto the family tree by claiming that their ancestor had been one of Niall's sons. If some of these dynastic founders were the actual sons of Niall, all among the genuine articles may be Capra, Lorgara, Fiachu, and Conall Cremhinna. God, some of these names are really awkward. from each of whom prestigious dynasties in the Midlands, known collectively as the Southern Unail, claimed their descent, while others of Niall's sons who founded the northwestern dynasties, collectively known as the Northern Unail, were Owen and Conall Gulban, assuming Niall had two sons called Conall, not an unheard of custom. There's another map here that I might take a photo of. Let me just get a... This angle is probably the best one. I gotta make sure I don't get my fingies. I gotta make sure I don't get my fingies in the photo. I want to show you guys my fingies. I don't think you guys much care for seeing my fingies either. Surely not. It'd be weird if you wanted to see my fingies. Oh, there was a tiny bit of fingy showing. I just gotta slightly edit this in. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm gonna remove this map now because I think you guys, I'm sure you guys could have read 8 words. Mosaic over the fingy. No, I don't want to make a new folder. Thank you. Upload that. Pop over to this. Next time I read this, I'll try and have like the maps already downloaded. I think this exact same thing happened. To be fair, I wasn't really planning on reading this until like right as I clicked start stream. Once I figured out that I was like, okay, I'll read. We'll do something. We'll do something like that. But I'll try and have it more prepared next time. Promise. Wait, no, I want it in this one. And then drive that. Download. There we go. And then I need to pull here. Now, this is... oh god, I don't want to move things. I gotta be careful. This is a very big image. How do I get this in like a good position where you can like actually read some of this? It's probably gonna be a little bit small. You know what? Here seems fine. There seems good, I think. You get kind of like a general idea of it. If you're looking at this on a phone screen, well, too bad. If you're looking at this on a laptop screen or something, it's probably not too bad. It's probably okay. Just don't want it covering chat. There we go. You're telling me the good old state of Maine is Celtic? Where did you see that? Where did you see Maine? Oh yeah, look at that. Look, it's Maine. Probably. I mean, Tyrone, County Tyrone is a name of the place. And that's a popular name among certain groups. There's probably other ones we can find here. But yeah, this is the southern Unail that were mentioned. This is a map specifically of the southern Unails circa 800 AD. Roughly thereabouts, anyway. And you can see there is a lot of them. But I think this might help with having excuse me, having a little bit of an idea of where places might be being talked about. Come on, get closer. Here we go. Where were we? We do not know for certain when any of these individuals lived. Mirchu says that when Patrick came to evangelize Ireland in the 5th century, Niall's son Logara was emperor of the barbarians ruling in Tara, which was the capital of the Irish, the Imperator Barbarorum regnans in temporia, que era caput Scotorum. But he was writing more than 200 years ago, and his is not a work of history, but of hagiography. Hagiography? I think it's hagiography. An ecclesiastical propaganda. The most we can say for certain is that the basic framework of the northern and southern Unail dynasties were in place by the 6th century, at which point they were certainly attempting to stake a claim to Tara, and they had made the kingship fully their own by the middle years of the following century. The title Ri Temro, King of Tara, having been appropriated, it came to be used as an honorific attaching to the highest ranking king among the Unail. For a period of quarter of a millennium from the reign of Ead Allan, died in 743, until the ascension of Mael Shachnael II in 980, the title King of Tara alternated, with one exception, between the northern and southern Unail. Thus, when Ead Allan of the northern Unail died in 743, the title King of Tara did not go to his northern successor, Niall Frossoch, who died in 778. Oh, sorry, I skipped a line. Thus, when Ead Allan of the northern Unail died in 743, the title King of Tara did not go to his northern successor, but instead reverted to the foremost dynast of the southern Unail, Donal Meady, and then at the latter's death in 763, the northern Unail leader, Niall Frossoch, who died in 778, ordained the title after whom a southern Unail dynast, Doncad Meady, secured the honour, who died in 797, and so on and so forth. When we weigh up the impact of Brian, among the most important considerations to have regard to is his interruption of this system of rotation and his undermining of a so prestigious title. What time is it? How many more pages are in this chapter, actually? Let's see if we can maybe finish the chapter. Nope, wait, I have to go back a few pages for the contents. Oh god, no. It goes from 1 to page 61 for the first section. We're only on page 16. We just finished we have a little bit to go. Page 16. The Southern Unail. When we use the term Southern Unail, it is only as a convenient shorthand for what were a number of competing dynasties, all claiming descent from Niall Nogalucht, which occupied a broad swathe of territory stretching from northeast Connacht to just north of Dublin, with their hub in the present-day counties of Meath and Westmeath. The most successful of them were descended from Niall's son Conal Cremhna, through the children of his grandson Diarmid mac Kerbal, died 565, the last man known to have presided over the pagan fertility rite called Feas Temro, the Feast of Tara. One of Diarmid's sons was Colman Mar, founder of Con Colmain Mar, the children of Colman the Elder, which provided the kings of Meath, literally the middle, in present-day County Westmeath and adjacent parts of County Longford and Offaly. Adjacent parts of... Okay, yeah, I get that. Another son was Ead Slánna, ancestor of Shiel Ned o' Slán, the seed of Ead the Slán, or Slane, which provided kings of Brega in County Meath, and at least one time South County Louth and North County Dublin. So let's see if we can see some of those that it mentions. We can see Clon Colmain there, just right above Meath. And we can see, which was it? The Shielnaid Slán. Kinneal Fiacach. We can see the kings of Brega. So this is probably where, yeah, you can see Brega, and then you can see Seal Neda Slán. Slain. You guys can see, this kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm dealing with. And this isn't exactly like modern Irish either. Over to, you guys, wait, I have a, because I was just talking about it, but I have a thing. Where's my old pointer? Did I get rid of my pointer? Oh no. I used to have like specifically just like a piece of text that I could use to point to things. Wait, it was this? No, that's BRB. It was literally just like a text source. Let me do it real quick. Text. Where is it? Application audio. There we go. Pointer. This name is already in use. So it is here. It's somewhere in here. Oh, wait. Was it this? 0.8. Drag this up here real quick. Because I have to set it to where it's... Oh god, I have to delete all of these images that I just randomly have here. There's way too many. It makes sorting out the scenes absolutely impossible. There it is. Yeah, so it's literally just like just this. That's all it is. But it's helpful. So if you're maybe looking for specifics, you can see Clon Colmain and Brega here. Shielnado, Slán. Yeah. So this is useful to have if I need to point to specifics. When they first emerged into the light in the 7th century, Shielnado Slán were the most successful and provided several kings of Tara, i.e. the over-kings of the Unail. But by the middle of the 8th century they had split into two separate branches, a kingdom in northern Brega that had its centre at the prehistoric tumulus as north in the Boyne Valley, and a southern Brega kingdom that had its royal palace at a Crannog at Lagor near Dunshaughlin. This splintering of Shielnado Slán corresponded to the rise of Clon Colmain. Based in the west of the province, and sometimes bearing the title King of Uisneach, from the sacred hill in County Westmeath, thought to be the umbilical centre of Ireland, meeting point of the 5 ancient provinces, their royal residences were at Dún na Scia, near Loch Ennell, and on a crannog called Crosh Inish, on the lake itself, or Croinish. So let's see if we can see any of those specified. Sorry, I'm having issues, not just resizing it. So they're talking about here. You have Lagor down here, just underneath there, and in the north you had North, along the River Boyne. It was also the meeting point of the 5 provinces. What was that called again? What do they call that? It was among the Uisneach. There it is, down here. So that was considered like the centre of Ireland in a sense. Right there. After 728, no king of Brega claimed the kingship of Tara and over-kingship of the Unail, with the solitary exception of Congalach Nógba, Congalach of Nouth, who died in 956, as Clon Colmain of Meath grew ever more prominent. It is during the reign of Don Cadmidi that Clon Colmain assumed truly national importance, and we find them trying to turn their kingship into an all-Ireland dominance. Doncha, for instance, repeatedly attempted to gain the submission of the over-kings of Leinster and Munster, and formed marriage alliances with the kings of Ulaid in the East Ulster. Although his death coincided with the beginning of the Viking Age, his grandson, Mael Shocknail I, died in 862. Copper fastened the dynasty's claim to national preeminence by his success against the Viking offensive. In 845, Mael Shocknail captured the Viking chieftain Turgesh and had him drowned in Loch Ol. In 848, he slew 700 Vikings in a battle in the same area. In 849, he overran the new Viking ship camp at Dublin. His success in championing his national effort enabled him to throw his weight around among his contemporaries. In 854 and 856, he took the hostages of Munster, the first king of Tara to do so, meaning that the province submitted to his overlordship. And in 858, he again entered Munster, accompanied by the men of Ireland, the annalist way of saying that Mael Shocknail was the king of Ireland on campaign, accompanied by his military vassals, and brought the province to its knees, so that he gained an unprecedented acknowledgment of his superiority. In the following year, Mael Shocknail convened a Vigh Dáil, or royal conference, at Rahu, County Westmeath, the astonishing conclusion of which was that the Osraig were alienated to Leith Cuan, and Mael Gulea, king of Munster, warranted the alienation. Leith Cuan was the name for the northern half of Ireland. Leith Cuan was the name for the northern half of Ireland. The Osraig were a people who inhabited the Nor Valley. Does it say, because I have a general idea kind of where that is. I think it says it on the map. In the southern half, which was dominated by the kings of Munster. What Mael Shocknail was doing was high-handedly transferring the overlordship of the southern kingdom of Osraig from Munster to himself, the Clon Colmain king of Tara. Admittedly, one perception of the greatness of Clon Colmain is moulded by historical record that they themselves helped to shape. Their great monastic church was Clonmacnoise on the banks of the Shannon. Flann of the Shannon. Wait, sorry, hang on. Sorry, on the banks of the Shannon, where Mael Shocknail Shocknail celebrated his celebrated son and successor, Flann Shinna, or Flann of the Shannon, died 916, had left us the magnificent cross of the scriptures commissioned by him, and whose scriptorium was unceasing in recording the deeds of his kings and promoting their claims to national hegemony. Flann's munificence to Clonmacnoise may have been in thanksgiving for success over Munster. Following years of opposition from the ambitious Cormac mac Cuilleane and punitive expeditions in 905 and 906, Flann's forces were overcome by Munster at the Battle of Magdalena in 907, but he eventually defeated and killed Cormac in alliance with the kings of Leinster and Connacht at the bloody Battle of Bailach Mugna in County Carlow in 908. These conflicts, a century before the horrific Battle of Clontarf, are proof that bloodletting in Irish warfare was nothing new, and that interprovincial enmities had been intensifying in recent generations. Proof, of course, that there was much at stake. For Flann's son, Doncha Donn, died in 944, the threat came from the newly restored power of the Norse of Dublin, whom he defeated heavily in 920. Then he burned the town in 936, while in 938 he laid the Vikings under siege, ravaging their territory from Dublin to Auth Truiston, near Castle Dermot, County Kildare. Doncha Dunn managed to achieve this latter success because he was now allied to his erstwhile rival of the northern Unail, Muirchadach, son of Niall Glundub. Although which of them had the upper hand is simply a moot point. With Muirchadach's support, Doncha was able to entertain ambitions in the southern half of Ireland, taking the hostages of Leinster and Munster in 940, while in 941 he achieved the notable success of securing the capture of the Over-King of Munster, Cailcán Cashel. But in the confusion that followed the deaths of both Muirchadach in 943 and Doncha in 944, the kingship of Tara was seized by the audacious head of the rival southern Unail line, Congolach Knoba. I don't know that name. The way I'm reading it sounds weird, but it makes me think of like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben Kenobi, Congolach Knoba of Shiel Nado Slán of northern Brega. In 944, Congalluc and the Leinstermen sacked Dublin. In 945, Congalluc had swapped sides and now allied himself with Amlaib Cuaran, the Norse king of Dublin and York, although they were defeated by a northern Unail rival at Slane in 947. They triumphed together against the same foe in 950. Secured his possession of the kingship, Congalluc repeated the efforts of his Unail predecessors to press his advantage in the southern half of Ireland. Indeed, in 956, having subdued Leinster, he proceeded to celebrate the Onach Colmain, the Fair of Colman, an assembly that took place on the Liffey Plain and whose convening was the sole pejorative of the King of Leinster. It was an astonishing break with convention, and may have played a part in stirring the rebellion against Congalluc that then took place, by which the North Leinster dynasties joined his former allies, the Norse of Dublin, and ambushed and killed him at Teach Giagran, near Dublin. It is worth noting that Congalluc's predecessor, as King of Tara, Doncha, had taken as one of his 4 wives Brian Boraim's sister, Orla. Now in the reign of Congalluc Noba, this engagement continued apace. In 950, Congalluc invaded territory of Dalkesh. So it talks about how he dies, but this is kind of a bit before then, obviously. In 950, he invaded the territory of the Dalkesh and killed 2 of Brian's brothers. All the indications were that Brian's family were beginning to make an impression on the national stage. What time is it? You know what? I do have to be up early tomorrow, so I think we may leave the discussion about the Northern Unail to another day. And there's another map, so it gives me time to do that, to get that map and some of the other mappies. Ugh. No, we made decent pace, I would say. We made decent pace. I hope you guys... Oh, sorry, Haruki. I didn't see your follow. Thank you so much, Haruki Astra. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for the follow. Ugh. And thank you, Legend, for the head pat. Very kind of you. Ooh, I'm gonna go get some tea, because that'll help soothe my voice, I think. It's weird, my voice never gets as tired as when I'm reading versus like just chatting to you guys. It's when I read, I think it's because it's constant and I'm talking in a very measured and specific way. But yeah, I think we'll raid into someone. The question, of course, is who do we raid into? Let me see who's around. Oh, wait. Close that by accident. Oh, you know who we'll raid into? Wait. Let me check. We'll raid into One Little Piranha. He's a very nice model. Very reminds me of like something out of Demon Slayer or something. But yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a very nice voice. It seems he's kind of quiet planing, so this kind of works well. Rory, hi. I'm just raiding out. I don't know if you've just been lurking. I'm sorry if you just joined. You said hi as I clicked raid for a bit. Okay. I've had that happen a few times, both to viewers who are going to watch me and to myself as a viewer. It always sucks. I think the worst was when I clicked on someone's stream And as it loaded, it suddenly like did a reload. I was like, huh? And then I was on another person's stream, and it was like I just joined the raid. I didn't even get to see the person was live. You woke up late. Oh, I see, I see. I hope you had a good sleep then. But go raibh míle maith and slán go fóil. Be nice to one little piranha. He's a very cool guy. Uh, Hope everyone has a lovely day, and you guys are almost to the end of the week. You got this. Bye bye. Bye. Atsu.